Welcome to Lesson 2 of Java Video Tutorials. This lesson will focus on basic math functions. And like always, this lesson, along with all of my others, can be found at www.javavideotutes.com. So let's go ahead and start out. Open up Dr. Java. And this lesson, we're just going to work in the interactions window. So we're not going to save any files. We're not going to compile anything. It's just going to be in the interactions window. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up large for you, and we're going to go over some basic math functions. This lesson will probably be less than 5 minutes because it's so simple. You can probably do it in your sleep. Go ahead and start out by typing 5 plus 5 and hit enter. You notice that it equals 10, obviously, and it returns 10, so I get a 10 right there. Let's do a few more addition. 15 plus 2 will do 17. 9 billion, or whatever that number might be, plus 1 will make 9, whatever it is, and 1. We can also do this. 5 plus negative 10, and that gives us negative 5. So be aware that Java is capable of working with negative numbers. Let's go on to the minus operation now. So we can say 9 minus 1. We can go 8 minus 27. Or we can go negative 16 minus negative 32. And as you can see, Java takes care of all the negatives and minus, and it knows what you're trying to do. Now, be careful. I usually like to put spaces in between my operations, but like you saw, 8 minus 27 gives me the same as 8 space minus space 27. When you have a negative number, you need the negative immediately preceding the number. So if I have negative 15 plus and then negative 2, that's going to, okay, it still works itself out, but it's kind of confusing to look at it like that. So I usually put spaces in between my operators and not when I'm doing a negative number. But for the most part, Java is white space tolerant, so you can put white space anywhere, which means spaces or new lines, and it's not going to make a difference in your program. So that was addition and subtraction. Now we have multiplication, so I can multiply two values, and this is just simple multiplication. 4 times negative 3, it does negatives. It's all great. Okay, self-explanatory. Moving on to division. This is also pretty easy, but there's one thing you have to remember. See, 9 divided by 3 is 3, and that's, of course, the / character. But what if I say 9 divided by 4? You probably realize that that's not going to equal an integer value. It's going to have a floating decimal point. So Java, however, is only working with integers right now. 9 is an integer, and 4 is an integer. So it wants to give us an integer in return. So it's going to say 9 divided by 4 is 2. And that is correct if we divide 9 by 4 and then cut off everything past the decimal point. It's going to do that for all integer division. So even if we have something that's very close to 1, like 12 divided by 13, it's going to cut off everything past the decimal point, even though it's closer to the next number up. So you see, 12 divided by 13 will give me 0. Well, how do we work around this? We need to give Java some floating point value to work with. So let's say 12.0, which has a floating point, divided by 13. You can see there we get our answer. 13 divided by 12.0. As long as one of the values has a floating point, then your answer will be in floating point. And obviously, if we say 12.0 divided by 13.0, we will also get a floating point value. And of course, it works with negatives as well, so I can have negative 12 divided by 13.0 and get a negative number. If I say 5 divided by 5.0, what do you think the answer will be? Well, it's not going to give me an integer. It's going to want to give me a floating point value. So it's going to be 1.0. It just adds that extra 0 onto the end. So let's move on from here. The next operator is called the modulus operator. If you've done any other kind of programming language, you've probably heard of this one before. It's not that hard, but some people have trouble understanding what it does. And that's because it's been a long time since they were in third grade. But if you remember, probably around third grade, you learn when you're dividing numbers, you don't know how to get a decimal point or a fraction yet, so you just do remainders. And that's what the modulus is. It's going to give you the remainder. So let's say 9 divided by 4, and we already established that that was 2, but if we take 2 and we multiply it by 4, it will give us 8, and the difference between 8 and 9 is 1. So if we change this to 9 modulus 4, which is a percent sign, it will give us that remainder. So 9 divided by 4 will give you 2 full 4s, and then plus 1 for that 9. So let's put this to practical use. 1974. Was that a 74? Was that a leap year? Well, I don't know. Let's say 1974 modulus 4, and it returns 2. So no, that was not a leap year. The year 2000, was that a leap year? Yes, since modulus 4 is 0, there's no remainder. This is a fourth year, and our remainder is 0, so 2000 was a leap year. So that's just one little nifty use you can put the modulus operator to. So our next lesson is going to be sort of quick also. It's going to be on bitwise operators, and if you really want to, you can even skip it because it's probably not one of the most important lessons. So, so long for now. See you next time.